Okay. Hold on. All right. Now we got another minute.
Another minute. Okay. Hold on, guys.
All right, getting ready to come live here, guys, in 15 seconds.
What's up, Holly? What's up, Josh? I wasn't late. I changed the start time to 5:05 because I knew Tom had to count us in.
3, 2, 1. Welcome in. We're live on a Friday night, April the 21st, 2023. So glad to have you in here with us tonight. This is Driver Nation. I'm Tom Kelly along with Steve from Rideshare Rodeo. Going to be with you here the next couple of hours and simulcasting on YouTube. Just go to the Rideshare Rodeo channel there on YouTube and you can watch us. So if you're out driving, listen in. If you're at home and relaxing, you can watch us on YouTube. Just go to the Rideshare Rodeo. And Steve, how are you, man?
I'm really good, Tom. And before I ask you how you are, I actually want to say something because we're going to get into some stuff tonight. This is a side note. I really want to, a lot of people in here I know are no Dashing Trader. I want to, Hannibal did it last night. He shouted it out on our show. I got in touch with Trader today, and it sounds like his daughter's doing better. Tom, I'm sure you don't know, Trader's got this great channel, a good friend of ours, and his daughter has asthma. She's 4 years old. She had to be airlifted out of the city. They live in St. Louis even. She had to be airmeted to an emergency. She's in a children's facility in the intensive care unit. It was beyond scary. It still is. He did put out an update, and that's when I texted him today and got in touch with him, that she is doing better, but not out of the woods, but better. But I just want to say to everybody, like Hannibal did as well last night, if everybody can just say a prayer for her, because I mean, this is a 4-year-old girl, you guys. I guess she, because of the asthma or something, she contacted the rhino virus, whatever. And
it's very, very good. It's the number one virus in America.
So anyway, that's that with the asthma. Like he had to do CPR on her outside. He was just like yelling for a neighbor or somebody to come help.
Okay,
so you can only imagine that kind of fear.
Where was she airlifted to and from? I'm confused on that part.
From I'm confused on where from, but to the pediatric specialty hospital. It's a actual pediatric hospital. So maybe he did CPR. Maybe they got her to a hospital where they said we need to move her to. I don't know. I can't give you the exacts. I just know. The first video he put out was just to kind of let people know, because he always puts videos out that I'm going to be vacant for a while. And then he did one today from the hospital updating that she was better, but still in intensive care. So just wanted everybody to know, in case you hadn't been caught up yet on the whole thing, that did happen to Trader. If you guys could just say a prayer for him and his daughter especially. And I say this because bad things happen to tons of people, but this is a 4-year-old girl. I mean, so Trader, you're definitely, in my thoughts, my prayers, sending nothing but positive energy and everything good towards your way. So anyway, how are you, Tom?
I'm okay. Compared to that, I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can, if anybody in this room can't say that, then
yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So, no, I'm doing great and happy to be with you here on a Friday night. And we're live. Let's see. We kind of, let's check. So I've just got a few joining so far. I'll wait for a little while before we give out the words so that you too can win $1,000. Still doing that for a couple more weeks. Every day giving away $1,000 here on TNCradio.live. Actually, we give away $1,000 twice. So twice the opportunities to win.
Why not 3 times?
Because there is a limit.
What if 4?
Because your salary is so high that I can't afford to do more than twice.
Oh, by the way, guys, the call-in number's up there, but you might want to let Tom and I go a little bit in tonight because I don't even know where we're headed. I don't even have show notes. I just know I already knew coming in what kind of topics we'd be talking about. And I know we'll kind of be scrambling even probably to put some parts of them together because I'm still working my brain around a lot of this that happened this week. So, but we'll try and get what we can out there, I guess.
Yeah, actually, I forgot to turn on the phone line, so we'll do that here in just a little bit. We'll do that at the break.
Yeah, so also, you guys, the reason I did want this rolling, though, too, was remember, if you are able to, if you have a second device, if you're at home on a computer, if you can open up TNCradio.live and just hit play on that, or like Gary always says, if you want to download the app, even better.
Even better, yeah.
And if you do both,
oh my gosh,
we'll give you $1,000. No,
Steve, we'll give you $1,000 cash.
Gary will give you
come to your house. And
Gary will give him the $1,000. Oh. Didn't Gary say that?
I think that's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he told us. So Gary will give you, I think it was $2,000. Gary will give you $2,000. Just kidding.
So usually I don't give much traffic information during this particular show, though we do at different times during the day. But I got to tell you what, if you're out driving Uber in Houston tonight, go home. For God's sakes, just get off the road. Don't do it. Okay.
Why? How bad is it?
Major freeway is closed. They're going to close it at the same time we end the show tonight. Okay. It's the Southwest Freeway going northbound and southbound, also known as I-69, also known as US 59. One of the busiest highways in America. And they're going to close it at the 610 loop for the entire weekend. Now you might think, oh, okay, it's a pain in the neck, but it's not that big a deal, is it? So just south of that, by about 6 miles, maybe 7 miles, is NRG Stadium. And you're thinking, that's no big deal. I mean, you guys just did the Final Four there. Can't you handle little traffic around NRG Stadium? We have something bigger going on the next 3 nights, bigger than the Final Four. I mean that seriously. A larger audience than the Final Four, more cars coming in than the Final Four, more people traveling in than the Final Four.
Wait,
more
Tom, before you say any more, my cousin is there with his daughter. Like who's like a brother to me, and I don't even know why yet. What is this?
I'm going to tell you.
Okay, because now I'm really
bigger
curious.
Than the Super Bowl. Taylor Swift is in town.
Oh my!
For the next 3 nights, and I'm telling you guys, this freaking city is insane. They have lost their minds. Don't go outside.
You're like giving a weather warning.
I mean, it is
that this city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion.
I mean, it's just it's bad. It's really bad.
Oh my God.
Dogs and cats living together. I mean, it is. I am stunned that anybody is this famous and powerful, and I mean, oh my gosh, how did she do this?
I mean, is she not? I usually being in production. I mean, even though I'm not doing a lot on the road production. I'm usually familiar. I'm not at this. Even I would be with her tour. I would be familiar with because I would have friends who are working it and whatnot,
right?
Or people that turned it down or whatever, and so I'd hear about it. Is she on a full? Is this a full tour, or is she just doing some sporadic cities?
No. This is
Okay.
Yeah, this is the full tour. This is the one.
Because I don't think that's why my cousin's there then. Because he went down there for 5 days for something that's been like kind of going on this week too. And I guess he was like, I am going to be around the most because she's a sophomore in high school. And that's why I thought when you said that, okay, but he's been there a few days prior, and I know she was busy the whole time, and it was some big girls thing like for around the country that came in.
Well,
something huge like convention.
I can tell you that night before last, they started lining up 12 hours in advance to buy her merchandise out of a semi truck.
Nice.
12 hours in advance. So it went on sale at
what? Why would you do that? Does Taylor Swift not know to make enough?
Can you not buy it online? No, buying it out of the trailer is like
right. They did that when I was touring with Elton John too. They did that same thing. They had 3 or 4 of those trailers outside, trying to help the lines inside. I guess was the theory. But to me, it was more cheesy because I'm sure hers are the same. It was like the deck lifted up, and I guess there were probably some of the more expensive items. Like they did have a $3,000 sparkle Dodger vest like he wore at the famous Dodger Stadium show, but it was $3,000. I saw it when I was going in.
I guess that's the kind of stuff they're selling. I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of the local news recently or this week, but anytime I do turn it on, my wife and I are walking by the TV and we're just like, this is all they talk about. This is huge. It's like,
Are you going?
10 people were shot over the weekend, but never mind that. Taylor Swift is in town.
Are you going? Are you taking your wife tomorrow night?
Let me look for my tickets here real quick. Dang it.
I'm not even dogging on Taylor Swift, guys. Might not be my thing I'd go see, but kudos to her on her career. She's definitely got one.
So my daughter-in-law looks like Taylor Swift, and my son looks like Michael Phelps.
And you look like Jerry Garcia, so that's a really weird comment. What's your wife look like? Who's she look like? You don't even don't ever show it to me. Just tell me.
Just a princess. She's a princess.
Oh, that is so weak. You got to give me like somebody to compare it to, so I got something in my head. It doesn't even have to be perfect close, but something.
I'll have to think about that for a minute. I've never thought about her looking like anybody else.
Really? She doesn't, like you did with us, she doesn't have a celebrity doppelganger you would think of?
No, I've never thought of her looking like. Honey, okay. if you're listening to this, come upstairs and tell me who you look like.
Tell me who you look like. No woman would ever do that, or I don't know any. Like, they would never come up. I look like this because I'd be like, they'd be too afraid to be like, really? That's pretty. Giving yourself a lot of credit there, aren't you? Like,
no, somebody I'm sure has walked up to her before and said, "Hey, you look just like."
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't know.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon.
Hopefully, she doesn't look. I look like Kevin Bacon. She doesn't look like Kevin Bacon.
She doesn't look as much like Kevin Bacon as you do.
What are we doing here? What's going on? Where's Gary?
So there you go. So anyway, just for those of you driving in Houston, if you're doing any kind of Uber, Lyft, I mean, look, there's one of two ways to look at this. You're going to make so much coin this weekend. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
Tom, you should at least turn on your app this weekend, like during the peaks before the show and stuff, and take some screenshots so that we see what the offers even look like.
Yeah, I ought to.
You should.
I'll take a look. I got the app all set up, but yeah.
You don't have to. Obviously, don't do the rides, but acceptance rate doesn't matter anymore. Or
right.
Chris, Real Rideshare Stories is in here. Chris, I know that it's not supposed to anywhere, and upfront pricing has some tweaks going on, but there's no penalty in any state for acceptance rate, right? With Uber and Lyft anymore. Pretty sure. Chris, but if you could shout that up. And then also, what's up, Chris? What's up, Rick? What's up, Josh? What's up, Bordura? And what's up, Brian and Kevin Hawthorne? And I already said hi to Holly, and so we're caught up. Cool.
There you
go. But yeah, okay. Taylor Swift is a world movement. When she comes to town, she is considered weather, I guess.
Jeez, bigger than weather.
You just literally, I was waiting for I haven't looked at weather, like you haven't looked at news in a minute.
Yeah.
And so I was like, thinking you were going to tell me about some horrible storm or something. And like, because you're like, there's a highway. And usually you lead those off with something truckers should avoid or something.
Right.
Like,
no,
so I'm going, okay, what is this?
Avoid Houston. Just stay away.
So I guess if that's true, guys, if you're not a Taylor Swift fan, wherever she goes, avoid that city when she's there.
Well, okay, so here's the thing, though. Who at the Department of Transportation thought this is the right weekend to completely shut down a major interstate right up the road from where we're going to do 3 Taylor Swift concerts night after night?
I'm pretty sure that the person in charge called Julie Sue and just said, "What would you do?" And she gave the absolute 180 wrong answer, because that's what she does.
What she does. Oh, we love Julie. So glad to talk with Julie and to be around Julie. And Julie got a chance to spend some time with Congress this week. And she just that's a great question. And the answer is yes. And let me tell you why it's not.
Wait, what do we?
The answer things.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, dude, look at during the hearing. And by the way, guys, if you didn't watch the hearing, we talked about this last night. I talked about another video on my community tab. There's a link to the committee hearing to remain independent contractors, to stop the policy change. You guys, I know some of you are. Sometimes I share those kind of things, and you're like, you want me to digest it and read and say it again, but I don't mind doing that. But this one, I really think you guys should watch. It's not a C-SPAN style where you're going to go, oh my God, it's like Bob Ross, I'm going to go to bed. You will actually get into this. It's actually, I was saying to Tom, it's somewhere between somewhere between a normal House committee meeting on something people care about and a Jerry Springer show. And I don't mean a joke of it. I just mean Karen Anderson and Kim Cavan. Wow. Ladies, and I already have talked to both of them. I've already emailed both of them. Phenomenal job. First appearance on a House going to Washington, D.C. and appearing in front of anything like that, but appearing in front of the whole House for 2 hours and answering questions and shooting down Stacey Abrams, shooting down what's her name from Minnesota, shooting down anybody that got in Kim's way. Kim destroyed everybody. And kudos to Kim Cavan for that, because there were some crap questions asked and they were definitely leading. And she had a way to spin everyone back without lying and kind of put it back in their court. And she did an amazing job. And Karen just was like Karen always is amazing. She broke down AB5 and its destruction like you wouldn't believe. So I'm very proud. I think that hearing went extremely well. We'll see what it really does, but there's definitely one thing I got out of Kim. I was like, I watched it. I know what I think. I saw what other people are thinking, but I was like, what was your takeaway? She goes, that I think we got 1 or 2 more Democrats to not want Julie Sue on top of the already 2 or 3.
They can't. You're making the assumption they make up their own minds.
I know, but for her to be able to pull a couple more, because that's what we need. We need people to object to her.
But they can object to her. They can say they're not going to vote for it, but they don't own their own minds. They have to vote the way that they're told to vote.
We already know. I mean, we have some counted Democrat. I mean, again, guys, I'm not, by saying this, I always have to preface it, but I'm not saying I'm a Republican. Again, I'm a registered independent voter. Just like I'm an independent contractor, I'm an independent voter too. And I vote on both sides. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I vote for the person, not the party, ever, because I don't believe in either party. That's how I'm going to put my politics from now on. I don't even believe either party will ever be fixed. I vote for the person.
Ever.
So I don't like being party affiliated. I was when I was younger. And then I went to independent registered because I feel like if you just vote down the ticket as one or the other, you're really not doing your job as a voter. And I feel like especially these days, things have gotten beyond corrupt. They've always been corrupt, but they've gotten beyond corrupt. So we need to make sure that some things in life don't happen. Julie Sue has already determined that we used to say it was 59 million gig workers and traditional gig workers and self-employed and freelancers and everything, put them all into the bubble. It was 59 million in 2021 was the last, or in 2020 was the last count. We never got the 2021 count, but the 2022 count says 65 million American gig workers. So around 36% of America of the US workforce are gig workers. So AB5 killed jobs. Karen proved it. They couldn't even talk to her about it. Nobody even addressed what happened. She just stated the facts about everybody losing jobs. She mentioned even our friend Gail Gordon, who is a nonprofit opera house owner, and the works, and how everybody lost their jobs. And she said, and she brought up what we always talk about. I was shocked, Tom. She's like, and yet I ask everybody, so I'll put it out here in this room today. What are the jobs that were promised, but just name one job that was created by AB5, please. And no crickets, nothing. Nobody even had. How do you not have one? How do you not have 1,000? How do you not have 10,000 or 1,000,000? Because you killed, what was it? High twos, so close to 3. You killed 2.8 million careers, 40, 50-year careers of people and their ability to earn. Shouldn't you create that many jobs? But if you didn't, at least show us how many you did create, since the whole purpose was to create jobs and get W-2 employees. Crickets. There have been no jobs that are directly created because of AB5. Nothing. I mean, to me, and then what? Julie Sue during the pandemic. Julie Sue was in charge of California and making sure that the monetary budget was correctly allocated. And some people say 60, some people say 68 billion. But then there was the article. I mean, there's 5 articles on yesterday's post on ridesharerodeo.com about Julie Sue. You can find 5 different articles in there. But there's one that actually said 62.8. So I guess they must be becoming near a number they can agree on. But 32. 32 or 62, whatever, nickels and dimes, right? But let's say 32. $32.8 billion is what she lost. And that is what meant that people who needed stimulus money didn't get it or were delayed a year or more because of her error and some of the open door policy that she let all that hacking go on. I mean, like, I don't know if you guys remember, if you guys can recall back to them, but when that hacking was going on, it happened in a few states. Most states just shut the system down because they hadn't built the workaround yet for gig workers. So there was this open portal kind of thing. And a lot of the states got hit. California almost just left theirs open and let everybody steal all the money before they got it to anybody. Who was in charge? Julie Sue. And now we want her to run and she was labor for California. Now we want her to be labor for the whole country. And she has, in those articles that I told you about, those 5 articles, you can read a lot of Julie Sue. You'll learn a ton. But she is definitely of the opinion that we are all not smart enough. This now goes farther than just the rule change. Her opinion is farther than Marty Walsh's. She believes we are not smart enough to understand why W-2 would be better for us, and so would union protections. And therefore, she wants to push it on the federal scale to all states, even right to work states, and she's going to do everything she can. And she even mentioned that we need to get more funds into the hands of union leaders. Are you kidding me? That, to me, I know, guys, I know it's going to sound over the top to you, but in America, that's terrorist talk. I'm not saying every union's a terrorist, but to say we need to make you all employees and you all need to be in a union and I'm going to make that happen. That's terrorist talk. That's a threat to me.
All right. With that said, we're going to take our first radio break about 10 minutes late, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to TNCradio.live. Stay tuned. The problem with all of this is that you have no passion for it whatsoever.
I really need to calm down. This week has been rough.
You really just don't care.
I know, man.
You know? And if you don't care, why would the audience care?
You guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to try and work on showing more emotion so that you guys can tell I'm actually angry about this.
This is really disappointing that you just have no care whatsoever about this topic.
So, okay. Yeah. See, Holly's I know Holly watched it for a fact. She's saying it's not boring. You need to watch this. Everybody needs to watch this. It's 2 hours. And I believe Holly knows. Holly, if you can jump it in there, I think you have to scrub like 11 minutes in because it just shows that screen for like 11 minutes. And they just
did somebody put out the link already?
No.
Yeah, get that link out there.
Right. So okay. Now this is to the whole thing, guys. This is there's some clips up too that we're going to try and play a couple tonight. But yeah, there's some. Wait, I gotta grab this too. This is what I wanted to show you earlier, Tom. So okay, there's that. But here's the link. So share. Okay.
All right, coming back in right now. It's 3, 2, 1. Yep, wrong one. All right, welcome back in TNCradio.live. Happy to have you back with us, and sorry for the slow re-entrance there. Getting all set up with the proper links on the YouTube site. As I mentioned, we are simulcasting on YouTube on the Rideshare Rodeo channel. If you're at home or you're headed home and you want to keep part of the conversation, just go right in there, check that out, and it will give you an opportunity to not only interface with us, but we have things like we're encouraging people to go watch this testimony given by Kim Carva and others.
I did put the links in there now, you guys. It says examining Biden's war on independent contractors. That was a Senate, or that was a House committee hearing this week on Wednesday, where they had 6 people on a panel. 2 of them were Kim Cavan and Karen Anderson, who you guys know are friends of the podcast. They've been on many times, and that link is to the whole piece, though. And if you're thinking, well, I'll just wait for the clips, I would recommend to go watch that whole piece. Every gig, I didn't expect that much of it to be gig work directed. I was actually surprised. I thought it would be more like 20% like app-based gig platforms and like 80% traditional IC type stuff, like the AB5 type legislation. But they came prepared, but really you could tell the hearing was really trying to be about gig workers. Even Stacey Abrams and other House members who were questioning from both sides were very concerned about gig. That seemed to be a big concern of theirs over just the whole thing, which actually, I hate to say this, you guys, but to me, that's kind of good. It at least shows me they recognize, no, what you did in California was stupid. You killed people. You basically took, you took 3 million people, 1 million work in the app-based gig world, let's say, and 2 million don't, let's say 4, and 3 million don't, and that you lined them all up and you shot them all instead of just the 1,000 that were in the gig world. Like, oops, like you killed them and then you gave the gig workers an exemption. Come on. And so you could tell there were people who wanted questions answered, but that they weren't concerned about the big picture capture. And for that, I'm happy, but I still think they're going to be coming after absolutely coming after app-based gig economy everywhere already is. We already all know that. But I think they're going to actually capture a lot of things like they talk about in this hearing. Like now California, like Karen did a very good job of, instead of breaking down the 611 things you can't be in California, she broke down the things that are needed there that now aren't even available because they can't be W-2 employees because nobody can afford to have them on staff all the time. And they weren't able to make a living because they were told you can't work at all and have left. And there's some things that are just not even available anymore. I don't want to misquote, but there was like, she had 2 minutes or 3 minutes at that point to speak. She used the whole thing and she named like 11, and they were all just like dire. And nurses was something that was, she's like that she had not electric vehicle timelines or flying cars, but she had a timeline broken down for how long before they're going to have not a nursing shortage, but a nursing pandemic in California. Not only because of maybe people not coming into the field, but because of the laws, it's making it impossible to be one. My guess is a lot of nurses, especially if you guys know this about some nurses. I didn't until I talked to these ladies. But like a lot of nurses will like work at different hospitals, or they have specialties, so they do something in an office. Those are the people who are done, and those are the people you need most.
But until they start leaving the workforce, nobody's going to believe it. Nobody believes this.
I would, you know what? If anybody watches that, if anybody doesn't watch it, then shame on you. If you do watch it, you'll understand how real this is now. This hearing committee is the first thing that I've been able to produce where it's not like, I get what you're saying. I get this video. Like you can't even blink twice about this. Everyone's involved in this. And what they say, the words are beyond meaningful on both sides. And at least one thing I can say about this meeting, why it's worth watching, is because even the side that I don't agree with personally, and I don't think most gig workers do, or independent contractors, the other side was at least they were very honest in that hearing, which I was glad about what they want. They'd skirt-tailed some things, but when asked questions, it wasn't like they were like going, no, we're not trying to. They were like, well, we 100% are going to be union, and so is everybody else. I mean, they were point blank. So if you don't believe it, go watch the hearing. It was in Washington, D.C. at the House. It's the whole House is there. It's packed. Not a seat in the House, But literally, I mean, like if you go watch that, I've watched things already that show me, or that I know, and from talking with people and people I've had on the podcast, and that I know how real this is. I know how real the PRO Act is and was, and how much more dangerous it was, but how it's still there in pieces. But this is the first piece I would say you will really get the breakdown of what the government wants to do. And you'll hear some very smart, good people say why we can't do it. So I said, I'm in the community post I made about it. You guys, somebody had said, like, because I said, I said something like, hey, sit down, take your political hat off, be open-minded, grab some popcorn, grab a drink, kick back, and get ready to watch and go through some major ups and downs. And somebody said, how can that not be political? By that, I mean, of course it's political, you're political, it's a political event, but come on, guys, see through my words here a little more. I'm saying, try not to view try and be an independent voter, even if you're not, for a minute. Just try and watch this. And if you're like, oh, I like that person, I agree with everything they say, really listen to what they say in this one. Even if you really like them, I don't care which side they're on. If you really like them, or if you don't, or whatever, just listen to the conversation and see what you think. That's my challenge to everybody.
All right. So the challenge has been made.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for somebody to type in challenge accepted.
So yeah, here we go. So Holly's putting a few things in. So turn it on while you're out delivering. Yeah. So Forensic nurses who do rape kits. Yep, those are gone. Those don't exist anymore in California. Smaller hospitals lost access to them. Yep, rural areas, everything. I guess those are, I was hoping you were going to put some of the other ones too. But I'm going to try. I mean, sometimes it's a little trouble to stream, but I can try here in a little bit to stream. There's the 5-minute introduction from Karen and the 5-minute introduction from Kim are both phenomenal. Kim's especially, Karen was first on the panel and they went down in a row. Kim was last, and Kim looked like she was just ready to, I mean, she looked very nice. She had a sweater draped over, but she also looked like she was like ready to flip it off and go, let's go, and throw down like right there.
Yeah, she does kind of look like that. She really does.
Yeah, I was waiting, and the fact that they put her, I was telling Tom before the show, I was literally, because they put her next to that union. I know that the lady claimed she's not a union lawyer, but she does have a law degree and she is the head of a union. So I don't know what that means. To me, it means you're a union lawyer.
Yeah, usually.
I mean, again, that's kind of how I feel about unions. Like, I might be a lawyer and I might be in charge of a union, but that does not make me a union lawyer. If you say that to me, not only are you scaring me and you're stupid, because you are, but it's scaring me more because it means, oh, not only are you a lawyer, you're also like going to be worse. You've got worse ideas. Like, don't just call me a lawyer. I'm going to trash you. Like, okay. But I could tell Kim was going like this. You could just see her, like, because she was in elbow distance of her. And she was just like, she was doing it slowly, but you could see her slowly through the first hour moving away from her. So I don't know, guys. I mean, it's tragic. I don't know if, that's what I wanted to do, was show you this screenshot if it's saved, because of that article I was looking for, and here it is. Good, I can bring it up. I'm going to put it on the screen here, guys. So this is what Kim Cavan tweeted. Julie Sue and this is quoted from one of the articles in yesterday's Rideshare Rodeo post about Julie Sue. Julie Sue is now openly admitting that as U.S. Labor Secretary, she would exercise her authority to reinterpret federal law so it can serve union bosses' objectives just as ruthlessly as AB 5 has in California. To that, I tell anybody in California, we're not talking about Prop 22. I know that might make you think like, well, then how does this affect us? It affects us huge, because now this lady who put AB 5 in place that made all that crap happen, and even if Prop 22 is helping some people, okay, but there's millions who didn't get an exemption, and it was just pick and choose. And the hearing explains this, and it's just really sad. And that's who is supposed to replace Marty Walsh. She had her first hearing yesterday, and worst case scenario is we were all kind of expecting, like, yeah, we're going to push her through. There was a lot of objecting, even from both sides, which I was happy about, because I think that, you know what, Tom, I think have we not talked about this before on the show? Like, most people who get elected, I'm actually going to give them a little accolade here, even to elected officials, which normally I think they're all correct. No, here, I mean, by this, not much, but I think you'll agree.
All right.
I think you'll agree. They don't know every issue going on. That doesn't mean that they're still not fake and full of it. But like, sometimes you might bring something up to them where, like, and if they were to say, I don't even know about that, they really might not. I mean, and I'm not calling them stupid. I'm just saying that I'm now learning from people I trust, like Kim and Karen and stuff, that really some of these people, I mean, they could be dousing them to me, but they're just telling the truth. That some of these people literally, like, when they've had to bring up things to their Congress people, they're like, not only they like, I haven't heard of that, they like get on board with it. They're like, seriously? Like, a lot of people there were Congress people who didn't know that they were going to exempt caddies in New Jersey before an AB 5 law, so that it wasn't a big deal when they didn't get to exemptions right out of the gate. Because if they didn't exempt caddies, who does that affect? For the resorts, the multimillionaires.
Right.
And they were like, dude, there's no way you're taking our caddies away. Not a chance. And so they just kind of, that's why Kim went down to the courthouse and fought that. And if you guys don't remember, she filibustered. She said her point, and then she filibustered to try and end the day, and they unplugged her. And she kept going. And they're like, no, your time's up. And they're like, you're just trying to or your time's up. And she's like, but I'm still talking. And that was her legal right. But I'm still talking. Okay, well, they were like, well, we're out of time. And she's like, I'm purposely trying to filibuster here. So
she did say that. That's funny.
I mean, it's allowed. It is allowed. You just got to be cautious how you do it.
Okay.
I mean, again, it depends on who's running everything in the room, but technically, filibustering is allowed. You are allowed to, in those kind of settings where timers don't exist, you are allowed to keep talking.
Okay.
So, I mean, she kept talking. They decided they had enough, and they unplugged her. Huh. But she did stop that from happening, though. Not just her alone, but a group of people. And her website is Fighting for Freelancers, or I'm drawing a blank. I'll look it up in a minute and post it for you guys. Okay. Fightforfreelancers.com. And so check that out, and then check, you guys, again, I can't believe I'm telling you to do this, but listen, just even if you're out delivering, listen to the hearing. You don't have to watch it at all. In fact, listening might be the better way to do the challenge, because then you won't try and pick out people you think you like. You'll be more unbiased if you just listen. Because if you listen to the conversation, I know where most of you will stand. I know a lot of you. I know where you'll stand. And it might surprise you where you're standing and stuff. So, or who you're standing with, I mean, but watch it.
Right.
I guess where do we go from here with that? Because I could tear into Julie Sue all night. I'd rather not. There's a lot of things we could talk about. Can we play Kim's opening thing? Are you cool with that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's play that, because I think that this is Kim's opening remarks. Now, things got much more interesting and everything, but I thought she did an amazing job with the opening remarks. So I'm gonna see. Share. Okay, so you guys, this is 5 minutes. This is Kim's opening 5 minutes. It's definitely worth paying attention to here.
Chairman Kiley and Ranking Member Adams for the opportunity to address the committee today. I'm a 50-year-old freelance writer and editor from New Jersey. After 10 years as a staff editor for newspapers and magazines, I decided to freelance. I've been successful and happy in this career for 20 years. Being an independent contractor is my chosen way of working, as it is for tens of millions of Americans. A few years ago, I couldn't have even told you who all my elected officials were. But then in 2019, California passed Assembly Bill 5. That law snowballed into a shocking series of events that include me testifying here today. California's law used language called the ABC test to strictly redefine who can and cannot earn income as an independent contractor. This ABC test is, quite frankly, impossible for many legitimate independent contractors to pass. Freelancers in California immediately began losing their income and their careers. And yet, almost overnight, my own state of New Jersey tried to fast track a copycat of the California bill. So several of us freelance writers created Fight for Freelancers to protect our careers. We blanketed the media with op-eds and interviews, and in a matter of weeks, our group swelled to thousands of members from many professions. We then packed our state house to standing room only capacity, and we testified for more than 4 hours until lawmakers understood that our careers as legitimate independent contractors need protection. Thankfully, the New Jersey bill died. But then members of Congress ignored the chaos on the West Coast and the outcry on the East Coast and began work to advance this same ABC test nationwide with the Protecting the Right to Organize Act. At that point, every independent contractor in America, tens of millions of us, had our livelihoods in the crosshairs. It's been more than 3 years now since California's law went into effect, and the lesson could not be clearer. Attempts to restrict the choice of self-employment do not create lots of new jobs. When you rewrite the rules to misclassify legitimate independent contractors, you destroy our income and careers. I'm here today to ask for your help in stopping these attacks on Americans like me. We are grateful that a few Senate Democrats joined with Republicans in the last term and refused to pass the PRO Act, but we remain deeply concerned that the same ABC test language remains in that bill now. We're also disturbed by recent actions at the U.S. Labor Department, which is rewriting its independent contractor standard in a way that will misclassify legitimate independent contractors. The current nominee to lead that department, Julie Su, supported and enforced the California law. It's remarkable to me that such a freelance busting ideologue would even be considered for the nation's top workforce protection job. In the face of all these threats to our livelihoods, our grassroots, nonpartisan Fight for Freelancers Coalition only keeps growing. We're now a national force. Our recent amicus briefs, including one that we wrote for the U.S. Supreme Court, were co-signed on behalf of hundreds of thousands of Americans. And make no mistake about who we are. Our members have voted for everybody from Bernie Sanders to Donald Trump. All of our co-founders and about 80% of our members are women. Our members include senior citizens, Generation Z, people of color, people with disabilities, union supporters, and just about every other demographic you can imagine. All of us are united on this issue. American citizens have had the right to hang out a shingle and go into business for ourselves since the day this nation was founded. It's a right that a third of the workforce, including me, exercises every day. Please fight for freelancers and protect our right to choose self-employment. I see that I have 30 seconds left. I'd like to speak directly to you, Ranking Member Adams. You said something that was correct in your opening statement. You said misclassification harms our economy. I agree with you, ma'am, and I hope we can have a conversation today about just how much harm it's going to do our economy if you misclassify tens of millions of Americans like me. Thank you.
Whoa. Throw down.
That's the union leader next to her, too. If you were noticing, she was like, and if you listen to when you listen to the whole thing, Kim's just eons past her and like how smart she is. It's amazing. But I thought that was a great. I thought that was a great piece. Like, hey, you got your 5 minutes, and the fact she addressed Ranking Member Stacey Abrams, because Stacey Abrams, because you guys haven't watched, I'll put a little context in there. She said that if we don't misclassify, we're going to ruin the economy, because allowing independent contractors allows businesses to operate illegally because they're not paying people who should be employees, and therefore putting mom and pops and other things out of business who have to pay employees. Blah 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 blah. BS. You guys want to know how I feel about it?
I'm really confused. You just do not seem to be able to communicate about what your thoughts are here.
I'm trying, man. But I mean, like, I don't know how you feel, Tom. I think Kim did an amazing, and Kim only gets better from there, guys. That was her opening remark. I don't know. I mean, that I think is a great summary of what is going on.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful and incredibly well done. Thank you for putting that together. And we've got other pieces we want to play in the second hour, right?
Yeah.
You got some other stuff.
We'll come out of the break with the Karen Anderson piece, and then we'll see, because I haven't broke up other pieces. And I think Kim put a couple up, but they're like 15 seconds. So I haven't been through them. And so unless I've been through them, I will play. You got at some point I played it to Tom. It's only a 2-minute thing, but there's one video that I have up where Kim is she's trying to talk about, she's talking about the union lawyer next to her, and she's like, and then there's this
person
lady. She's like, you can tell she's thinking, I mean, she's not thinking woke or how do I refer to this gender person. Like, she's thinking bitch, asshole. She's thinking, excuse me for the language, but she's trying to think of how do I not say what every word I think about her.
Right.
And she's like it's the only time she stumbles, and she's like, this lady. So that is just for fun. We'll play that, but Karen's is a little more calm than Kim's, but she will play that after we come back after the top of the hour, because she actually says, she talks about AB5, and she was the first one on the panel to do her time of her introduction. Kim was the last out of the 6. So
all right.
I don't know if we're there, because with 5:56, if we probably should be there, because anything's going to take too long to talk about.
Yeah, and so we got to figure out how to fill 3 more minutes. though. Okay. You got something that's 2 minutes?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Want to talk about Stacey Abrams? I'm just kidding. Yeah, I just got to get to something on my side. What did we talk about last night that was short?
Well, while Steve's coming up with that, I'll tell you what, real briefly, Gary's not here tonight, so let's talk about Gary's apps.
Right. Oh, actually, I do. Wait, can we do that after the hour so we can do it properly? Because I do have a great little story, and it's really short.
Okay, sure. Okay,
so Kim, not Kim Cavan, Kim, who does the roundtable with us, Kim's Side Money Plans, she handled this story last night. She got it off the website, Rideshare Rodeo. But Kim talked about the crazy woman who got stuck on the roof. Okay. This woman gets stuck on the roof. Okay. So she lives in an apartment building, and it's one of those roofs where when you get up on the top, the door locks behind you. We see them in movies all the time, and then you're screwed and you're locked up there. Okay. So she's up there, and she gets locked up there. She has her phone fully charged, no problems. And she is like, what am I going to do? She doesn't call the landlord. She doesn't call the super. She doesn't call any neighbors. She doesn't call a friend. She doesn't call the police. She called DoorDash and ordered Chipotle burrito to the roof.
In a way, that's kind of brilliant. Because you're gonna anyway.
It is.
So, yeah.
But hold on, Tom, and this is just too stupid to even go into it. But a few weeks ago, this same person was also caught. So you have to wonder how this one really did appear to be that she really was caught up there. But is she doing it for views? I don't know. But she actually, the same person from the Daily Dot, was in a video where she locked herself in her car.
Okay, well,
I don't know if you guys, and we talked about it last night. I don't know if you guys have seen the Family Guy where Peter locks himself in the car and the keys are right there and he can see him outside and he's like scratching at the window like a dog because he's like, he can't figure it out. Like, she locked herself in her car. When they came, they're just like, unlock it. She's like, oh. Anyway. Are we at a break?
I think we should be. You've been listening to TNCradio.live. We're going to do the top of the hour break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay with us, and we'll be back after the news. I'm Tom, he's Steve, and everybody else, they're there too.
Are you a DoorDash delivery driver? Would you like to be safer and less stressed while driving and earn more at the same time? The Driver's Utility Helper app allows you to do just that. Create custom filters and its automated system does the work for you, automatically declining unwanted low-paying requests and accepting more profitable requests so you can focus on driving. Visit acceptordecline.com to get started today.
Hey Houston professional drivers, TNCradio.live keeps you on track to make more money with detailed traffic, emergency, weather, and driver information and entertainment. We're Houston's only driver navigation station. Get our app on TNCradio.live, Google Play, or Alexa.
ParaWorks is a new way for drivers to find high-paying job opportunities. You can claim these job offers to stack with your platform work and make your workday much more efficient and profitable. By uploading your gig work history and creating a ParaWorks profile, you'll unlock access to better, higher-paying driving gigs in your area. When a Para partner tells us they need drivers, we make sure you're the right person for the job, then notify you immediately. If you like it, it's yours. Your work history is your resume. Make it work for you.
Going crazy. DJ, this a hit.
Are you tired of being limited by the algorithms of the courier apps? Do you want to take control of your earning potential as an independent contractor? Hi, my name is Hannibal, and I run the Hannibal is Hungry YouTube channel. Tune into the Beyond the Algorithm live stream with my co-host Steve, Rideshare Rodeo. In each episode, we share valuable insights and tips on how to achieve income beyond the courier apps and become a true independent contractor. Join us for practical advice and inspiring stories that help you know your worth and maximize your earning potential. Don't miss the Beyond the Algorithm live stream on the Hannibal is Hungry YouTube channel.
Meet Joe. He is a gig worker trying to make money using his car. He uses multiple gig apps all at the same time to maximize his earnings. But this can be difficult and dangerous while driving. Sometimes the requests come in so fast, Joe can't pick and choose the best trips to take, which can result in lower pay or lower rated disruptive passengers. That was until Joe found Maximo, the automation app that helps gig workers accept and decline trip requests. Maximo will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and rating, to determine which trips are best suited for Joe. When a trip request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. Maximo will compare the trip details to Joe's filters and then determine if it should automatically accept the trip, decline the trip, or allow Joe to decide by showing the per mile and per minute rates. When a trip has been accepted, Maximo will turn off the other apps that aren't on a trip. Once Joe finishes a trip, Maximo will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to reduce his stress and frustration, drive safe, and focus on the important tasks. Check out Maximo at www.maximoapp.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? By the way, guys, trying to see anybody that wants to, like I've said, get commercials over. This is the show where we could do that. Normally, I would have even run them earlier when Tom does the other commercial breaks, but we got time for them, and it's the only night of the week of all the shows I do on YouTube where I can do this. So you want me to run a little ad for something? And it's not, sex related or drug related. Happy to do it. So just get me something, 15, 25 seconds. Happy to run it. So let me play a little catch up here, at least with who's in here. So I got through there and no. Hey, what's up, Gigan? How you doing? Getting caught up, Steve. Yeah, are you out working right now? I'm guessing he's maybe I remember when you joined this one of the weeks when it was just me. I appreciate you doing that as well. Right around this time you were heading home. He's in Minnesota, by the way. I won't reveal exactly where in case he doesn't want you guys to know, but he's in the state of Minnesota, and he was doing Amazon Flex, and he was on his way back, and I think he got another Flex back. So it was right around this time. So I think he might be in my time. If not, he's Central. I'm Mountain right now. Here it's 6:05. It might be 7:05 where he is, but it was right around this time where I think he was finishing up his day. So anyway, what's up, Gigan? What's up, Rational Driver? How are you? What's up, Thomas? How are you doing? Oh, you're in Grand Rapids, huh? Weird. Do you ever listen to the Gig Economy podcast? Those guys are in Grand Rapids too. Should. Those are good friends of mine, Jason and Jesper. Check that out. And then what's up, Kevin? And by the way, Kevin, I gotta say, man, the screenshots on Discord, whenever you're ready to come on Last Mile, we got to get you on, because your market's looking solid, and I want to talk about that. Last two, what's up, Red? How are you? Red is Gig Wars official. You guys saw the commercial there, and then hi, Marissa. How are you? Just waiting for Tom to bring us back in, and then we'll start throwing people in the dirt again.
45 seconds. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back in TNCradio.live. Happy to have you with us here live on a Friday night, and we are simulcasting on Rideshare Rodeo on YouTube. So you can check us there, or you can call in. We'd love to get your calls, 706-862-8620. That's 706-TNC0. We'd love to have you call in and chat with us. We're down a man tonight. Yeah. Listen, Gary.
Yeah, but hey, Tom, actually, let's, before we plug Gary's apps, which we need to do because we were just talking about it. Why Gary's not here tonight? His dad is getting remarried this weekend.
Really? How about that?
So congratulations to Gary's papa. Hope she's a good one. Gary will find that funny, even if the rest of you didn't. So
That's fine. That's good. So, well, that's great for Gary and great for them, and I hope they have a wonderful time with that this weekend. Sounds like it will be a blast.
Yeah, because he was on the round table last night, but he said sorry he couldn't join us tonight. I think that's as legit as reasons come. So
pretty legit.
I mean, I would feel bad for his dad if he chose this over his dad.
Right? Yeah. I would, but I do this radio podcast thing, and it's just more important to me than you are.
Yeah, I know. Right? What you doing, Gary? Priorities, buddy.
All right, so Gary does Gary's apps, and Maximo is the number one app that he. Well, I guess
DUH and Maximo kind of battle, but he really likes promoting Maximo lately.
Yeah,
I think he's. I know some things. I know that eventually he would like to see them all we've talked about this many times, all encompassed into one app now. One filtering app that does them all. But DUH has so many different things that deal with DoorDash, and there's so many DoorDash changes. I think that's why he's kept them separate. But in a perfect world, it would be one.
So why don't you tell us about Maximo?
So Maximo is awesome. It's a filtering app for Uber Lyft, I guess for a few weeks, still Lyft isn't around anymore. Still will work though. Uber, Lyft, Uber Eats, and Grubhub. You can set all the parameters on what you want in the orders. Since acceptance rate doesn't matter, you can set your parameters and it just won't even show you what you don't want to see. Look, I only want to go 2 miles. I only want to go, I want to only see orders that are paying this much base pay or more. I only want this. He's got literally, and I'm not kidding, thousands of filters that you can do. And therefore, once you really go through and fine tune it, you just, you plug in your apps, simple, and then you let all your settings kind of run your game so that you don't have to sit there. Because I guess let me mention it in relation to DUH, because DUH is the same thing except for only for DoorDash. And because there's more DoorDashers than pretty much, there's as many DoorDashers as there are those other 4 things I just named. So in this country, so DoorDash is a huge app. Same type of filters and stuff, but let's be honest, most people see, I always joke and inflate the number, but it's really not that funny. I mean, really, like a lot, it depends on your market, but some people, I had an interview with Nova Dasher. We all know Nova Dasher. In that day, he took 14 orders. He had 200 offers.
Wow.
So 7% of what came through his phone, and not only just 7%, but 200 is annoying to have to sit there and see 200 in a value. I mean, what a waste of time. So to take that 7% of the order of 200 orders given to you in a day, he still did pretty well, but Gary's app eliminates that. You don't have to look at any of the 200. You just set it and it will find those 14. And when they come through, it'll grab it for you, or it'll show it to you. And if you want it, you grab it. You can set it in so many different ways, both these apps. And then there's the freebie Flex Alert. Flex Alert is for Amazon Flex shoppers. And if you do Amazon Flex, check out The Last Mile. We'll talk about Gary's app, Amazon Flex specifically on there a little bit. But what it does is it grabs batches, because if you guys do Flex, you got to keep sitting there and tapping to refresh the screen. This allows you to go do some things, come back to your phone, see if it grabbed one for you. And that one's free. That was the first one he did. And then there's the last one. And I know I saw Red in here. I hope she's still in here. Gig Wars. Gig Wars last week, even, Tom, it was still in beta on PlayStation, or in Play Store and on iOS and the Apple Store. But it is now in full version on both platforms. And Gary coded the iOS one, which with Mac, that is the one thing that he's trying to move over as well. Maximo and DUH, as wonderful as they sound, they are that wonderful, but they're for Androids. So he's been trying to move that over for a while. iOS has a lot heavier standards, and Gary's a one-man show, and he still works harder than most people I know.
I tell you, it's a pain. It's such a pain.
Yeah.
Been there, done that, have the T-shirt. And
well, yours is up on iOS. The TNC Radio.
It was nearly 3 months after we got it going on Android before we could get it on iOS.
Right.
The exact same code.
Yeah.
And we never changed the code to make it work. We had it's just crazy.
Yeah.
The answer to it, and Gary's actually one of the people who told me this, the answer to getting it on iOS is quit trying for a while and then try again, and you'll get somebody else different. And eventually somebody will say, there's nothing wrong with this. Yeah, they can come on.
Sorry. I was listening. Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, Tom's familiar with that type of stuff too, guys. If you're wondering, like if Tom's been a coder, he knows Gary's game and Gary's racket.
Yeah. So yeah, I did IT for 40 years.
Yeah.
Before I got into this little bit here. Hey, mind if I give away $1,000?
I don't know. If you guys want it, I mean, go ahead.
Okay. Well, let's give away $1,000.
So can we share the link before we start? Let's share the link where they have to go.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So is it just TNCradio.live /contest?
That's the one.
Okay. I'm going to put it in there. So you can start talking about it. I'll put it in
I'm
the
going
notes
to
right
double
now.
check that it's not like contest page or something stupid like that.
So just so you guys are aware how this giveaway works, because Tom is obviously...
You have to explain it.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, it's between other stations too that are smaller stations.
Right.
So it's like, I mean, clearly, I just want to make it clear that it's worth doing for sure, guys.
Yeah.
There's no harm.
Yeah, this is part of the Independent Broadcaster Association of America, the IBA. And if you ever decide to build your own 24-hour station, good group to belong to, because they don't discriminate on whether you're FM low power, FM, AM and FM, single sideband, or internet. So all of which are the alternatives that you have when you're out there. And we like doing the internet thing. We broadcast throughout the U.S. and Canada, and looking at perhaps expanding into Mexico later this year. So here are the keywords. You go to that contest page, and you'll see that there's a little form you fill out. Put in your name and information, contact information, very important, and put in each of the following keywords separately. You got to do them separately. If you mix them all together, it won't work.
When you say, Tom, when you say separately, are you saying those just spaces or?
Nope. Each one is
in each field, right?
Each one is a different entry.
Okay. So
okay. So 4 entries. You're going to put in 4 entries, gives you 4 chances to win $1,000, and then we give away another $1,000. So it's really, so let's say there's a total of 5,000 people who put in their names. Okay, so 5,000 people. Now each one, if they only heard one keyword today, they only have 1 entry. You're going to get all 4 keywords. So that gives you 4 entries, and then we're going to pull 2 names. So you see real quickly, by being here right now on a Friday night, when they do the Monday drawing, you have a chance, pretty good chance, of winning $1,000. So let's go, shall we? First word is built. Built. B-U-I-L-T. Built. Like Steve is built like a god. Stream. Stream. S-T-R-E-A-M. Stream. As in Steve swam up the stream. Stream. Next word is white. White. W-H-I-T-E. White. As in Steve is a white guy.
I thought you were at least going to say my shirt, man. That's twice wrong.
It was just too easy. Sorry.
White people, am I right?
Sorry. Oh. The fourth and final word for Friday, April the 21st, 2023, is rain. Rain. As in, boy, did it rain here last night. R-A-I-N, rain. We'll do the words one last time. Built, stream, white, rain. Built, stream, white, rain. Those are your keywords for tonight. Go put those in. Get you $1,000, and that would be very exciting. Be very exciting.
So you guys, I put them in there. It looks like Brian put them in as well. And I put the link just above it. Just click that link. It's that simple. And Gary did it last week, and he was doing the show with us. And literally, I think it was about 30 seconds later, he just like, I just entered all 4. It took that little of time. So just do it.
Yeah, just takes a few seconds. Pretty easy thing to do. All right. So that is that's
say hi to Light, because I think I missed him before and I saw that he was in here. So what's up, Light? Didn't mean to ignore you, but go ahead.
All right. So where do you want to go next? I know where I want to go next.
Oh,
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, should we come in with the Karen intro too? Because she does. Let's watch that. It's 4.5 minutes, you guys, and it's about, yeah. Let's just go with that. See what you guys think.
And thank you, Chairman Kiley, Ranking Member Adams, and distinguished members for having me here today. After AB 5 was signed into law in September 2019, I knew it was an existential threat to my career. Soon thereafter, I launched a public Facebook group called Freelancers Against AB 5 so that I could connect with other people to find out how AB 5 was affecting everyone, be it nurse practitioners, videographers, golf caddies, or whomever else might see my page and want to share their experiences. Little did I know I would have a front row seat to hundreds and hundreds of negative stories pouring in from all income levels, demographics, political affiliations, and the vast swath of professions, trades, nonprofits, and sectors, as well as small business owners being put out of business for alleged misclassification violations, be it music store owners, audio tech installers, videography platforms, or architectural designers. Even before the law went into effect in January 2020, I heard from hundreds of individuals who had lost their careers overnight after being given notice by their clients that they could no longer legally utilize independent contractors from California. I received stories about children's theaters closing, local bar bands unable to perform, interpreters sidelined by the law, and court reporters suddenly without assignments, to name a few. Entire sectors that have been negatively impacted by AB 5 include small and regional theaters, indie filmmakers, the spa and wellness community, wedding planners, nonprofit arts groups, and the freelance transcription profession, which is now all but extinct in California due to AB 5. Speech-language pathologists had to abandon their elderly patients whom they were teaching to learn how to swallow after recovering from a stroke. The sign language interpreters told me they could not provide ADA-mandated services to the deaf and hard of hearing after AB 5 was passed. Seniors who had thrived with their self-employment opportunities were suddenly unemployable due to ageism in the workplace. Forensic nurses told me that AB 5 is detrimental to rape victims, especially at rural hospitals where without forensic nurses to perform forensic evidentiary medical exams, victims of sexual assault are subject to long wait times or substandard exams by untrained medical personnel. All told, within my group, we've identified more than 600 categories of professions impacted in some way by AB 5 and its ABC test. Despite the so-called exemptions for certain professions added in September 2020, the law continues to wreak havoc on legitimate independent contractors, entrepreneurs, and small business owners. Many exemptions come with caveats and fine print that make them nearly impossible to take advantage of. The law also creates a chilling effect in which businesses don't want to utilize independent contractors from California at all, even if there is a pathway to an exemption because there are so many potential landmines. Authored by former Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez, who now leads California Labor Federation, AB 5 represents a scorched earth approach to policymaking. Recently, on March 17, 2023, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals validated what we've known all along about the arbitrary exemptions process that picks winners and losers with no rhyme or reason. The decision was in response to a lawsuit from 2019 filed by rideshare and delivery drivers against AB 5 called Olson versus State of California. The case was dismissed in February 2020 before even being heard. In the Ninth Circuit decision last month, a 3-judge panel rebuked Lorena Gonzalez for her blatant animus not based in reason against the plaintiff and for engaging in backroom dealing. The court stated that the counsel for the state during oral arguments was unable to articulate any conceivable rationale for the exemptions of AB 5 as amended. And the court stated it is plausible that AB 5 violates the Equal Protection Clause under the 14th Amendment as alleged by the plaintiffs, and that the bill borders on corruption, quote, pure spite, and naked favoritism. The case is being sent back to the lower court for review. It is not speculation in California what can happen with a law like AB 5 and the ABC test. We are literally the canaries in a coal mine. On behalf of the independent professionals in California, I ask that the cautionary tale of AB 5 and its ABC test be a warning to the nation so that these types of destructive policies don't spread nationwide. Thank you.
So I don't know what you guys thought of that. Both of them did great jobs.
Great job. I mean, it really is. I would be, look, I'm on the radio all the time and, do different things. I've been out doing, done public speaking in front of thousands of people and all. I would be shaking in my boots. I think it would be, it's a very intimidating, it's built to be intimidating.
Yeah.
They want you to be intimidated. And yet both of them just came out like they do this all the time. Yeah, this is what
and everything's spot on fact.
Yeah.
No guesstimating, politician stuff. That was everything they said, fact.
Yep.
And if you go, like I said, I'm looking for it right now. I guess I don't remember where it is, but somewhere in these notes, you guys up a little bit earlier in the show, I did put the link to it. To the entire hearing, and I won't dwell in it, but again, go back and watch the whole thing. Even if you think you won't like it, every gig worker needs to watch it. It's that important. So, hey Nick, what's up? How are you? But yeah, I mean, that's, you guys, it's crazy. It's happening. You get those people who say like, well, nothing's really happening. Really? I mean, this is things are already happening. We were joking about like Connecticut and how just how unrealistic that is. I did a special with Ron this week we did a random special live on some of the states that are changing and why. We talked about, like we did last week, about North Carolina and Minnesota trying to offset some road repair costs onto them. We talked about, Michigan killing the right to work. We talked about Seattle and going to to now getting paid sick leave and days off and paid things that independent contractors have never had. We talked about a little bit about what was we talked about some other big things too. I'm trying to recall, but we did talk about Connecticut clearly. And I said, Ron, what happens if this, because like we're, on a couple other things where I've mentioned it, people have said, well, everybody moves to, let's move to Connecticut right now and make that money, 36 an hour plus $1.30 a mile. Okay, let's do it. Again, it is active time. Ron's theory actually is probably pretty close. He said what I would imagine would happen. For those of you that don't know Ron, I'm speaking about Entree Courier. He lives here in Denver as well. Very smart person, runs a podcast and a website. His podcast is audio only. He really doesn't like YouTube. It's not for him, too much drama. But Ron is a very smart guy. And he said his thought was, what happens is Uber, if the companies were to stay, this was this scenario, that they would jack the crap out of the prices like you've never seen, clearly to the customer, would have to. And then, for active hours, but literally, obviously a little exaggeration, but maybe you'd get a half hour active per 6 hours. Therefore, like, what are you making really? He said there wouldn't be enough customers because they wouldn't pay those fees, and they would definitely start deactivating for no reason at a much quicker rate, and they would no longer be bringing you on. That all made sense to me.
Yeah, well, I think he's right. Hey, we've got to take a break. We're late again. We'll be right back. You're listening to TNCradio.live live on a Friday night. Stay right there. Sorry, Steve, but we are just
no. Smack that like, you guys, if you haven't. Get us in that move. Get us moved up that hill a little bit. It's been a long week for me, so you guys, I literally I love being here every week, but I'm actually looking forward to laying down after this.
So I went out because I fact check even the people who I agree with. So Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher is now the she's the executive secretary's treasurer of. She's the one who wrote that stuff. Yeah, she is. Lorena's the first woman and first person of color to serve as chief officer for the California Labor Federation, AFL-CIO. Sworn in last July. on my 20th wedding anniversary. And so she, and proudly, they say in her bio, in 2014, she passed, I like the way she owns it, she passed historic legislation to allow every single Californian the ability to earn paid sick leave, creating a model for the nation to follow.
Yep. And she's part of this whole mess.
Yep.
And that's why we've only heard her name. If you want, you gotta watch some of the other stuff I've done with Kim and Karen, because we talk about Lorena often.
Yeah, in 2019, Lorena passed. Oh, gosh, she's a powerful woman. In 2019, Lorena passed Assembly Bill 5. I'm stunned. I had no idea that she
lives in a very small blue. You guys need to understand. She lives in a very small blue collar district, or at least that's where, I don't know if that's where she lives, but where she represents is a very small blue collar district outside of San Diego. So it's kind of BS that, first of all, we'll get to that, but go ahead.
Anyway, yeah.
I mean, she's like Tom's talking about the 2019, her and the AB5 legislation. Vina Dubal was involved, who I've had on the podcast, who, she's the professor of law at UC Hastings. Obviously, Governor Newsom was involved.
So let me finish my sentence there, though, Steve. You got to read between the lines here a little bit. The California Labor Federation.
Yeah.
Okay. Read between the lines. Do I have to spell it out?
Yeah. Could you? I mean, I mean that. Could you? Because like some people might not have caught.
COMMUNI. It's a communism. Okay.
Like, have you guys ever been to China or Russia?
This is the Communist Party of California.
Yep. And not to say, you guys, like some of you in here are from California. I mean, like a lot of my best friends are from California. So I mean, like, God, can't hate the place, but and it's not that everything political even there is that way, but there is a strong presence of that there.
Yeah.
Clearly, because they push things through even.
So she's the executive officer, and so there you go. Yeah. Take that for whatever you want to take it. But I mean, again, nobody's casting aspersions. We're just stating the fact. All right, here we go. Coming back in 3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome back in TNCradio.live. We are live on a Friday night, April the 21st, 2023. If you're just joining us, I'm sorry you already missed the keywords. Can't give them.
If you're joining us, you missed everything.
You missed everything. So I can't tell you about Built, Stream, White, and Rain, and about how those are the keywords where you can win $1,000 if you go put those in on TNCradio.live or use our app to do that. So Built, Stream, White, and Rain, I'm not allowed to tell you those words. Sorry.
Yep.
All right, Steve. Can we take a minute and kind of shift gears here for just
please.
So it kind of slipped by us a month or so ago when DoorDash went out and did their annual, what am I trying to say? Their statement to the press and to their shareholders about how they're doing.
Okay.
It was really good. They, even though they're not making as much money off their grocery business as they were when they first started doing it, right, it's still hugely growing. It's still double what it was the year before.
And it's, let's be honest, it's partially, I mean, look at the powerhouse of drivers they have. They have the most oversaturation of any app out there.
Saturation, we can take,
I'm just saying that actually helps them though. I mean, that makes them everywhere. They're kind of in your face, and look, Instacart's falling. They're in the grocery space. They're number one in food.
I wanted to go is I want to do a side-by-side comparison of DoorDash versus Instacart for a moment.
Yikes. It's like crap versus crap. Go.
So DoorDash, to be a driver, you got to be 18. You have to own a car or a scooter. Some drivers in some cities only have to own a bicycle. Drivers must provide their social security and driver's license numbers, and the driver must consent to a background check. For Instacart, you must be breathing. No, and
I don't. It doesn't say that actually.
You must be 18, must be eligible to work in the U.S. You need to be able to lift 50 pounds without additional accommodations. Driver needs consistent work access to a vehicle, doesn't have to own anything, and the driver must own a smartphone. Okay, so it must be an Android 5.0 or greater or an iPhone 6 or greater. The driver must consent to a background check. So that's how the two, as far as the difference in drivers, not a lot of difference between the two.
One thing I do want to mention that you were talking about is that there is another option on DoorDash. I have it, is to walk.
Really?
Yeah, I have the option to walk when I dash.
At the time this was written, this is almost 2 years old now. So,
I mean, somebody in the chat correct me because I don't know that. They might have still been then too, but like right now, I could select I want to dash right now, and I could choose walk, not drive, or bike, or scooter, or all the options are there.
So quite clearly, though, there's a big difference to customer satisfaction between the two. Can you guess for me, Steve, which clients are much more satisfied with one of these and much less satisfied with the other?
Wait, according to who? A DoorDash spokesman?
No, this is by a guy named Lee Stanton, who is writing for a PC and mobile apps magazine. So he has no dog.
The magazine's not helping me. I don't happen to know the writer, so I don't know his affiliation with anything. But to me, I mean, that's a good question. I don't know how many factors you put in there because I don't know. I mean, I hate both of them. But I hate Instacart more. But I'm starting to get there with DoorDash too.
Yeah, well, at the time of this writing, and like I said, this is like 18 months ago.
Instacart then.
Yeah, the DoorDash people were much happier than the Instacart.
Yeah, okay. I'm forgetting 2 years ago. Okay, yeah. 2 years ago, absolutely.
18 months ago,
right
thereabouts. Okay,
yep.
So, and I think now would be even more, don't you?
Well, yeah. I mean,
which of the two companies is?
I think it's proven. I mean, look at Instacart.
Yeah, which of the two companies is making profit and growing measurably by at least double each quarter, and which one is falling off the earth?
Trick question. Neither. Okay, well, the falling off the earth is Instacart. So by default, what is DoorDash?
Yeah, what is DoorDash is correct. Ding, ding, ding. So anyway, again, now y'all know I've dropped DoorDash for other reasons, just not happy with the overall service. But I'm comparing, what I'm really looking at is the satisfaction of those people who say, swing by Walgreens and get me a toothbrush, a toothpaste, a razor, 2 bars of soap, a thing of shampoo, which, gotta admit, it's pretty freaking simple these days to do that with DoorDash and
yep.
And with Uber Eats and a whole bunch of these now. It's become very, very simple that if you need something and you just don't feel like getting up and going and getting it, they'll bring it to you.
And not to mention with Uber Eats, everybody kind of like, I think some, those who got it in their test market, Corner Shop, when they acquired Corner Shop from Peru, Uber, which is a just straight shopping app. It was a great app when everybody loved Corner Shop. They got it in their market. It was one of those, starting stages where paying great and all this. Obviously, we're never going to hear about Corner Shop again, but I think we will see Uber's grocery space grow huge because it's still kind of what the size it was or the entry level that it has been, but they didn't acquire that for nothing. So the reason they acquired it is because why wouldn't you? Obviously, they're watching Instacart losing and leaving the field. And I guess here's my question I proposed last night though too. for the grocery space, all of these apps are in a little bit of trouble because here in Colorado, if I watch TV, if I'm on the internet, if I'm watching YouTube and on the commercials, because they geo my location, even on YouTube, so I see ads from King Supers / Kroger, and they all are running all the time. And they come at you hard with these. It's all animated. It's in-store prices and blah, 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 delivery, blah. And now it's $5.99 for same day delivery up to 100 items. Again, in-store prices, digital coupons are able to use, phone numbers, so gas points. We get gas points at Kroger's here. And all kinds of, you get everything done. So you don't have the marked up prices. You don't have all the crazy fees and stuff, but it's $7.99 to have it in an hour. And that's faster than you'll get it with Instacart anyway. Same thing, in-store prices, digital coupon, same thing.
Right.
You're paying everything like if you went and shopped yourself, $5.99 if you can just take it that day, $7.99 if you need it in an hour.
Okay, so here's a weird one for you. There's a restaurant that's not, it's probably 10 miles from my house. It takes 20 minutes to get from my house to there back. And they are super busy on Saturday mornings. But I like to eat a big breakfast on Saturday. I mean, during the work week, I have, a scrambled egg or 2 scrambled eggs. But during Saturday, I want to have a big breakfast. And they serve in the restaurant it's chicken fried steak with hollandaise sauce and a poached egg. So essentially, it's eggs Benedict, but with chicken fried steak.
Nice.
Oh, it is so good. I mean, it's incredibly good. But you can't buy it through DoorDash. However,
good. I don't know if I want a DoorDash driver bringing my. I don't want to go around my hollandaise sauce.
Hang in there. Let me finish. So I couldn't buy it through DoorDash. I was real disappointed. I bought it every time I go to the restaurant. I want what I want. So then I went to the restaurant website, and they do delivery through the restaurant website, and I can get my eggs Benedict chicken fried steak through the restaurant website, delivered by guess who?
The restaurant?
DoorDash.
Oh. I thought that was even going to be funnier.
How is that even possible? Okay, so if I go to DoorDash, I can't order what I want. But if I go to the restaurant website, I can get what I want delivered by exactly the same people.
Here's my guess, because they know that DoorDash people can unassign. They know that some things, I mean, we all know this about every restaurant. Things can sit there and never get picked up. I mean, one driver could drop it, reassign, drop. All of a sudden, it's just even out of the queue and they've forgotten about it. I mean, literally, this is how bad the business is run, that they can just forget about in order till you call 2 hours later and go, I've been reassigned. Oh, yeah, you want to redo the order? And then DoorDash just pays for it because they don't care. But my guess is that the restaurant does, like I was just saying about Holiday, for example, like they want to make sure that you, who knows that place, who loves that, who wants that, is getting it in even close to the shape you would get it in the restaurant. So they want to make sure it's expedited then. And maybe there's some way that by doing it directly through the restaurant,
I guess.
I mean, that's all I can think of, because otherwise, why wouldn't it be on the DoorDash menu?
Yeah, if anybody out there knew off the top of their head why it would
Holly's saying this. Holly's saying that.
What?
Is it? Oh, I thought you were looking. Isn't updating menus?
Is it updating menu? No.
But I think the way he said it, Holly, is that like I think it would have been there. It should have been there the whole time, kind of thing. Am I right? Like it's not a new item. It's
no. It's
yeah.
not a new item.
So even if the menu hasn't been updated, it should be on it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the only thing I can come up with is that maybe they even used to. Maybe they learned a lesson that DoorDash drivers were just delivering it disgusting.
But it's the same drivers.
Right. But like I said, maybe because when I don't know if you've been in the DoorDash app in a while. I barely ever use it. Ooh, I'm going to have to switch cameras here, you guys, or else this will go dead on me. It's the problem with the 2-hour stream. Okay. Plug in.
Well, I tell you what, why don't you shift cameras? Let me take one more break here, and then we'll come back and wrap all this up. Anyway, like I said, just putting that out there for thought. We'll talk more about it in a minute. You're listening to TNCradio.live, Friday night, Driver Nation. Stay right there.
I'll save it for when we come back.
Okay.
Sorry, guys, I got to do that for the radio side. But I do have a theory on this because recently I ordered DoorDash.
Well, I can't get anything from this restaurant via Uber Eats or anything else. My only options are DoorDash or order directly from the restaurant, which comes via DoorDash.
Right, and I know I have one thing. Oh, again, you're gonna have to wait, guys. Cliffhanger, clickbait.
Okay.
You gotta hang with us.
Got it.
But again, one thing I will say that doesn't give it away is that I don't use these apps that often. I've said that before. Like my son and I never use this. We don't use this. We don't even go out that much, to be honest. We just eat at home. I try and cook, 2-3 nights a week at least. We're both on such off schedules that then I just make sure there's groceries around. But when I went to Vegas, I did use DoorDash when I was there doing that curry order, and a few times actually. And there was something I noticed. So.
Okay, since somebody just mentioned a happy belated 420, every night I drop a note to the overnight guy, Steve Summers, who does the overnight drive, and he got a big kick out of my note the other day. So this is the note that I sent him about our morning programming. Hi, from TNCradio.live. Happy 420. Our joint is just around the corner from the Johnson Space Center. Whether you drive reefer or are toting anything else, we hope that you stay on the road and off the grass. But there are a bunch of dopes out there, so don't let them bring you down. Let's be blunt. There are plenty of places you can spend your time listening. We very much appreciate that you spend your time with us. Right after SSOD, it's time for Keep On Talking with Tom Kirk and Christine Gray. Several of the originals joined in and discussed how to make cabbage in an era of tight spot rates. Then it's encore presentation of Taillights with the Bombs. We weeded through some of the best to bring you another story of being on the road as a team driving couple. Sometimes the grass isn't always greener. Finally, if you weren't already tripping, it's Anderson and Banker with the only sports show geared towards truckers. It's Clutch Time Sports at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's all in good fun, even if we come off as half-baked.
The only thing you left out was Rocky Mountain High, bro.
I had fun writing that, and I got some good laughs for it. So.
That was good.
Yeah.
That's good. I do those too. I don't know what that is. I don't know what makes people do that because I don't. Other than you, I really don't know of other people that do it. But I do that too. I do that wordplay and try and make it long too. But yeah,
I'm a very punny guy. All right, 1 minute till we come back, and then we'll have a little less than 10 minutes to wrap up.
Okay, and we'll obviously as soon as we come back, I'll tell you guys what I think about this. Where we were with that DoorDash.
Okay, good.
Or the only thing I can come up with because I noticed it. So we'll see what you think.
All right, if anybody else is going to call in the next 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to shut down the phone line because it'll be too late to take calls.
Isn't it already? Too late, guys. Come back next week.
All right. I'll give you 1 minute after we come back.
Unless you're a trucker. If you're a trucker, you can call in. Sorry, guys. I got it. Because if a trucker had a question.
Whoever wants to call in. I'm always happy to take callers.
I just noticed the time, though.
All right, so here we go in 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back in on a Friday night. It's TNCradio.live. Driver Nation, I'm Tom. He is Steve with Rideshare Rodeo. Steve does a podcast that is really a lot of fun. But before I get to that, I got the phone lines are going to be open for one more minute. I'll take calls for one more minute. We'll get you in before the end of the hour. After that, I'm going to shut down the phone lines. So if you want to give us a call tonight, love to hear from you. Give us a call. Steve, your podcast, really enjoy it. You're doing a lot of different things these days. But people who might not be familiar with you, or perhaps this is their first night listening in on TNCradio.live, right after this program on TNCradio.live, for the next 2 hours, you can hear some of Steve's podcasts and get a feel for what it is that he's doing. And if you like it, check it out. You know, we'd really love for you to check out all of his stuff. Steve, you're sending people now to ridesharerodeo.com, correct?
Yep. And I am starting to behind the scenes. I'm starting to make it at least in like sketch form what I want, because I want it to be very simple. And then it will, like I was telling you before, it'll have a subdomain for where it's redirecting you to now, which is uberlyftdrivers.com, 6 years around. But that'll actually just be a subdomain of Rideshare Rodeo. So you can type in Rideshare Rodeo now. You'll still get to the old site.
Now, do I need hyphens for that?
Nope, just ridesharerodeo.com.
Okay. All right. No hyphens, no dashes, no underlines, just ridesharerodeo.com.
Yep.
All right. And you put out a lot of stuff every week. What you got coming up this week that people ought to know about?
So this last week, guys, and the reason I was saying I'm so burnt, clearly, if you've been listening to this episode, it's been a lot of the fight for independent contractorship. Rule changes set to go into effect in May. Next week, I'm shifting gears a little bit to we're going to be doing some stuff on DoorDash, because DoorDash made some changes on the TOS. They went from 21 sections to 15, and at first glance, it appeared like not much more than just, a couple little normal things. But then there's some rewording of like major things. Like, let me see if I can put at least one of these up, because this is a big deal, guys. Like if you see this, another subtle change in the TOS this time is that they no longer have a quote unquote deactivation policy. It's now the service provider platform access policy. And in that change, DoorDash has violated their own contract. Dashers are to be notified by mail of changes to the policy. No email was sent. So not that they're always up to date with that stuff, but there's some language changes in this that kind of allude to, we're a little afraid of the rule change and some of what states are doing. So we're going to reword some of our stuff and be a little more careful here. But there's also some other things we found. So on the Para Roundtable next week, which we do every week on the Para channel, I host it with David Pickerell, the CEO. That drops every Thursday, and it's pre-recorded. We have a group selected of dashers who are veteran, who are part-time, who are top dashers, who are dashers that have been doing it forever, and have seen all the changes. And we're going to go through some of the scary stuff that's going on, and some of how it might tie in with legislation, but that's only a small portion. We're really going to dive into the app because they're doing some really bad changes, and it seems to be going in a very clear direction. And to say more than that will get me into an all-night frenzy attack, so I need to stop. But that's a little hint. But what Tom is referring to that he's going to play here after this are the audio podcasts. And I keep telling you guys, I am now back to I'm not bringing the YouTube over to audio like I was doing for a few months. Now I do drop the audio podcast every Tuesday morning on Rideshare Rodeo on every platform: Apple, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, any pod player, whatever. On the website, ridesharerodeo.com, you can find it. That you cannot hear on YouTube. I don't bring that over to YouTube anymore. So if you want to hear what he's talking about, the raw rodeo audio podcast, sometimes just me going off, but telling you guys a lot of informative stuff. Check that out, because I'm back on to doing that separate of YouTube now.
Cool.
So can I give my DoorDash theory before we get out of here?
Please.
Okay, so before we went to the break, for the radio listeners, I got to say that, so we were trying to figure out what's going on with why Tom can get an item from a restaurant he knows by calling the restaurant directly. But if he goes to DoorDash, he cannot. It's not on there. Holly suggested maybe the menu isn't updated, but I think that we concluded that no, like when the menu was first put onto DoorDash kind of thing, this item was on there with all the rest. So it just wasn't ever added. However, you can call the restaurant. I don't use these often, but when I was in Las Vegas doing the curry run, I was there. I did use DoorDash 2 or 3 times. I was with some other people. We actually went out a couple times to very expensive things. So we used DoorDash a couple of the others. One thing that DoorDash did down there in Vegas, and I think they do it here as well too, is when they're showing you all these prices from the customer side if you haven't been on it in a while. And then, it's like, okay, yeah, I want that. And the sales come up first. Like these places are 2 for $1. Those show first. And then all that. And you go through, you pick what you want. And then it says, okay, do you want it in 40 minutes or whatever? And you're like, yes. Okay. And this will be it total. And then right afterwards, it says, would you rather have it in 20? Add $4.
Right.
I'm wondering if somehow that ties into what you're talking about. Expedited DoorDash drivers who will be there on a dime.
I don't know.
Again, I just can't come up with anything else. I don't know. I don't know, but it's my guess. It's my best guess. I don't know if anybody else has a better guess. Put it in the show notes. I don't know. Holly had her guess too that the menu just hadn't been updated, but I don't think that played with Tom's story because it sounds like the menu.
All right, got one quick thing there for you.
If it's Julie Sue, I'm leaving. Oh, I gotta
put that up.
Okay.
Julianne Moore. This is the answer to your question earlier.
Nice, Tom. Your wife's hot, bro. Good job.
What do you think?
I think that's a great job. I think she's great.
They look like?
It makes it even harder because I know her as an actress and I really like her.
Yeah.
Let me add that.
Yeah. Look how much they have a lot in common there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's at first glance it's tough with the shorter hair, but if she has
her hair's pulled back, and I couldn't find with both of them having the same hair the same way, but but they both had that good chin, big cheekbones, beautiful eyes.
That part of me asking you that earlier, by the way, was that Tom's really good at finding doppelgangers. So if you guys feel like adding a picture of her, coming on and sharing it with us, let's see how quick Tom can find your doppelganger.
We'll have to do that some night for
anybody.
Yeah,
won't buy. We'll tell you who you look like.
That's right. We'll put them together.
Yeah, we can have a panel or something.
Yeah, we can vote and see if that's right or whatever. We even found somebody for Chumley. I put Chumley up there with Gary.
Well, didn't we have or Elon or two maybe? Elon a little bit like Gary.
Well, I put Chumley up there because I thought it was funny.
Yeah, that was the
Gary laugh
for sure.
All right. Well, hey, it's time to wrap things up. Thank you, everybody, so much. Really appreciate your being in here with us tonight. It's been wonderful, and we will be back next week, same time, same place, right here on TNCradio.live.
Later, guys. Peace.